So for all of you out there who are eager for an update from the Etihad, there's been a list of potential actions drawn up that suggests a few possible outcomes for Manchester City. Recent developments have suggested that the independent committee that is handling Manchester City's case will take its time to complete its investigations, which, as we know, could mean months or even years. However, City's Premier League rivals are pushing for the defending champions to be relegated from the league with immediate effect, as they believe that the evidence against the citizens is conclusive. So, with all that being said, realistically speaking, what could happen to Manchester City? Starting off with the lightest possible punishment, Manchester City could be asked to only pay fines amounting to the breaches they have committed, which in all fairness would not really do much, as Manchester City's owners have deep pockets. However, being fined does mean that they are guilty of at least one breach in the financial regulations, and it would also mean the Premier League will be keeping a closer eye on financial dealings by City. Moving up, we have points deduction. Much like how Italy's Juventus was deducted 15 points during this season's campaign, the same could happen to Manchester City, which would leave the club mid-table just above Chelsea and Liverpool. If this were to happen, however, the points deducted won't necessarily be a fixed number of 15, as these penalties are rare and deductions are on a case-by-case basis. The next penalty will have repercussions that span longer than a single season. We are talking about transfer bans. Manchester City could possibly be banned from making signings for an unknown number of transfer windows, and also be denied the right to register signings, which means no contract renewals for current players. Chelsea is the Premier League's most recent victim of this penalty, as ex-manager Frank Lampard had to steady the ship at Stamford Bridge without making transfers. Whether Guardiola will be able to do the same is yet to be seen. Next, we are moving on to the big boy penalty, relegation. Although we may refer to the Italians yet again as an example, the truth is such a punishment has already been handed out in England. Leeds United were the first club to ever get thrown out of the league in the middle of an ongoing season, and although this happened a long time ago, it does mean that England is no stranger to such a punishment. Relegation might be detrimental to Manchester City, as most of their elite players might want to seek a move out of the club to avoid playing in lower leagues. Being relegated also means lesser revenue for the club, and potentially not having enough money to pay players' wages, which also means being forced to sell or release players. This is it, the mother of all punishments. Stripping of titles. And before you think this is a ridiculous idea, it has happened in world football, as our favourite controversial football club yet again had their league titles stripped off them and awarded to Inter Milan. If we look at the seasons under investigation and the titles won in those seasons, who stands to benefit the most here, just like Inter Milan? There are a total of 6 seasons where City won the league, and the runners-up to them have only ever been Manchester United and Liverpool, with each team finishing as runner-up 3 times respectively. If this were to happen, the biggest winner here would be Jurgen Klopp, as he would be able to add 2 league titles to his already glittering CV. The other 4 titles would go to Liverpool's ex-manager Brendan Rodgers and Manchester United's ex-managers Sir Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It is worth noting that the punishments above could happen as a combination. For example, Manchester City could get fined, get relegated, and have their titles stripped off them. Although we won't know for sure what happens until the investigation committee concludes their findings. So there you have it, the 5 possible outcomes of the Manchester City crisis. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you are still here, check out our sponsor for today's video. Phoenix Asia Academy and IEG Campus are collaborating with Glasgow Caledonian University to make MBAs accessible for all. Whether you are a fresh graduate or working professional, GCU has the program just for you. Click the link in the description for more details. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.